Samo.
Samo. Can you call him Samo?
Yeah.
I mean, you can call him Samo, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this was the Star-Spangled Man. So this episode opened different than any of them we've had so far,
And I really appreciated that.
we got the previously on. We got to spend time directly with John, and I really liked that. I really thought that was a wise choice to show him in his old stomping grounds. I don't know. Have you ever gone back to your old locker room?
No.
So I haven't either. So but I could imagine what I would feel if I walked into that locker room. And I liked when he peeled the name off and his plate, like his metal plate was still there. I will say he is the poor man's Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
And his buddy there is the homeless man, Sam Wilson. So, and I know I've used that analogy a couple times in this episode, but it's been very true and apropos.
Might have to retitle the episode.
No. So, yeah, there was so much good stuff in this episode compared to last week. We're not going to get like super deep into it. I will say there was really good action. We finally got Sam and Bucky together, and we'll talk about that during the commentary. Getting to meet John and understand that he's a good man who has been put in an impossible situation, and the failure that is going to that will precede him, or come because of him. Sorry, precede him isn't the right word. That will come from because of him is truly heartbreaking, because I think Wyatt Russell like made you kind of like him a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say he looks like he's got a dip in Wyatt Russell, the way his like the structure of his jaw looks like he's got like the tobacco in his lip. A little dip packet, but he was I liked him. I liked him as this role. It's unfortunate that the introduction of him at the end of the first episode was such a horrible angle that he looked like Carl from Up in the Captain America mask. But yeah, I don't know. We learned a lot. A lot happened. There was no Joaquin this week, which made me sad.
He was in it for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, so I wouldn't count that.
Yeah.
Like that's not enough. That's not enough Joaquin time. He's their guy in the chair. So, but yeah, we learned more about the villains. Enfys Nest is the bad guy. Enfys Nest is a tokenized version of a male character.
Yes.
So, and there was some, as you put it before while we were eating dinner, some serious virtue signaling that happened in this episode.
Yeah.
And I don't, we had it last episode, we have it this episode. I don't like the way it's going with that.
It's not needed. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you can put that are true to life that happen organically in a show. And the 2 examples that we've been given so far, you know what? Yes, stuff like this happens, but it did not happen organically in the confines of the show and what was going on. You saw it coming from a mile away just because, and that's not good. That
the minute the police car pulled up, you knew it was going to happen. I will say, we're not going to spoil who this new character that was introduced in this episode was, but when Bucky was like, it's the guy with the arm, like that was great. And I did not expect it to be this person. I didn't think they'd go there. But yeah, I don't know. The Flag Smashers are an interesting group. The one guy, the one Flag Smasher sacrificed himself to get away, which was interesting with the power brokers. I think having Karli Morgenthau.
I don't know how they spell it. Yeah.
So the character, so she's the group leader of the Flag Smashers, which in the comics it's Karli Morgenthau, and he was Flag Smasher, and he was the leader of the Flag Smashers. It's just another example of like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like I get it. Like I get you want to have more of everything in all of this and less of what the canon of the character is. But I mean, they still haven't even shown us Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
They mentioned her finally.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen her. How about you give us Sharon
instead of
as the liaison with the team with Sam, and you know, in that I like my one real gripe besides the virtue signaling stuff is the jetpacking that happened in this episode. The way they were able to make it around the world.
Yeah, and usually that's one of those things that unless it's like overly gratuitous like it was in this episode, I discount.
Right.
Game of Thrones was really bad, especially the last couple seasons.
The last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones was really
like
bad.
they had transporter technology.
Well, considering the previous 6 seasons, they spent like the entire half of a season walking on the King's Road to get from King's Landing to Winterfell to King's Landing. You know, it's like things like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, this one had some good moments. And the other thing I told you is I really like the chemistry between Sam and Bucky, but at the same time there was a little bit too much of the haha. This was funny, comedy, little snark type stuff.
Yeah.
And also, while I understand the anger that both of those guys would have for how the government did in picking another Captain America.
Yeah.
The way they treated, you know, John Walker was absolutely dickish and unnecessary.
Oh, yeah, I mean they were elitist.
Yeah.
You know,
they were like
snobs.
Yeah, they were like 10-year-olds. Yeah. And they were
well, they are like 10.
Well, they are like 10-year-olds.
So
yeah.
let's be honest. The meme, how old are you? Right? Have you seen that? And the next thing is 106.
Yeah.
You know? So but yeah, no, you're right. And actually the way they treated Lemar. Yeah. I thought was even worse.
Yeah.
It's like come on, you're the other guy's sidekick.
Yeah.
And when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm his Sam Wilson."
And
it's like, all right.
And then when Sam gets upset where he's like, "Hey, I could use, you know, Captain America's wingman."
Yeah.
There is nothing denigrating about that.
No. You have wings. Dude, you're a man.
You just talked about your wingman that got blown out of the sky in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, you're lucky your name is Falcon and not Wingman.
Yeah, there is there was nothing denigrating about him calling John calling him Captain America's wingman.
Yeah.
That's an honor.
Yeah.
And for him to take it like that was just so petty to me.
It's funny because, like we talked about last week, they did not need to humanize Sam the way they did.
Yeah.
And I think they made him a more angry militant character. And that's
he's never been that in the MCU.
He has, but it's been the recent MCU, like the all new, all different.
No, I mean like the MCU, the movies.
Oh, sorry, MCU. Sorry, I meant comics. But yeah, no, in the movies he's been the
optimist almost.
Like I'm the as much as Hawkeye is, you know, the human face of the Avengers, I think Sam is right there with him as like maybe even more so, because you know he got beat by Ant-Man. But yeah, it's just one of these things, and then with Bucky, you know, the like Angel said, my wife, she wants to just see a show of him in therapy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, watching him in therapy with flashbacks to what he did, that would be an amazing show. But, like, that show's going to get old after 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But I like the woman who plays the therapist.
Yeah, I really like her.
I like the relationship she has. I like that she served with John. That was a nice touch. But yeah, I mean, part of the downfall that's going to happen to John Walker has to do with the power brokers. But also will have to do directly with the way that Sam Wilson treated him. I think Bucky is partially to blame, but I don't think. I think there are excuses to be made for Bucky.
Oh, absolutely.
He's 106. He doesn't understand the world. He was a brainwashed super soldier for 90 years. He's a man out of time. You know. What I would like to see the outcome of this is for Bucky to actually take on the U.S. agent role and take the shield, because he was so adamant about Sam, like, you let Steve down. Mm-hmm. Steve gave you a mission and you failed him. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why Sam is a little more militant, but at the same time it's like, dude, you let your best friend down. You stood up there and you said those flowery words about him, but there was no depth to that.
Yeah. Because if you know who Captain America was as well as you did, he would not have given something like this to you lightly.
No. And
instead of,
especially because like Bucky is actually a little more of a natural choice, right?
Yeah. So yeah, and hopefully, and to your point with what's going on with what's going to happen with John Walker, I really hope that from his character arc standpoint, Sam Wilson owns up to his part in when shit goes sideways.
Yeah. So I will say Sam/Anthony Mackie had my favorite line of the whole show when Bucky was sneaking around. He goes, "Look at that, a regular old White Panther." And Bucky goes, "It's White Wolf, actually." He's like, "Wait, what?"
I love that.
Like, I want them to dig more into his time at Wakanda. I want Sam to dig into his time at Wakanda and kind of figure some of that out. So, because I mean, like, he's got to fight. I did like the other thing too when Bucky's like, "What was that second rule again?"
Yeah.
Because he's gonna hurt some people.
Yeah,
he's gonna hurt them bad.
Yeah.
I will say this show is beautiful. It looks amazing. This is
incredible. It's incredible.
Just like last week, it was 49 minutes runtime. I think we actually got a little more actual screen time because of the way it started. The band music playing the Star-Spangled Man with a plan, going through the Marvel logo, I thought was a great touch. And yeah, the only people who don't like John Walker are Sam and Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And it's like...
And it has nothing to do with what he did.
No. They could welcome... Like, here's the thing, though. Is I don't want them to just welcome him with open arms. Yeah. I want there to be some form of distrust. But, like, we got to see a training montage. And it's like, he's not a super soldier, like, by any stretch of the imagination. But he is a pinnacle of human...
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Human athleticism. And it was great to... It was really great to see, especially when he was doing the shield and everything. And, that thing really does not follow the laws of physics. Peter was right, but
one of my favorite lines in the MCU,
right? This is just this is an interesting show,
right?
I'm not ready to say this is a great show. I have some friends who are like, this was so much better than WandaVision because it's so MCU. I was like, actually, WandaVision was a little more MCU than you're giving it credit for. I don't think this is as creative as WandaVision.
Oh no,
I think this is the Marvel by the numbers formula of everything, and I think the introduction of Zemo. I'm either gonna love it or hate it.
Yeah, I'm actually I was thinking Zemo was gonna come in a different way, to be honest.
Like breaking out of the raft
or something along those lines. As far as the show as a whole, it has a lot of potential. It's more straightforward, and we knew that. We said that even before it started. And you're like, well, WandaVision gave you this, like, it's a very creative way from start to finish. This is going to be more along the lines of something like a Winter Soldier, that espionage drama, but a little bit more.
I feel like this is closer to Civil War than Winter Soldier.
I was going to say a little bit more straightforward. Yeah. Which is not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Not bashing it at all.
But I knew what I was going to get, and there are certain things I'm wary about, and it's some of the virtue signaling that they've done so far. I'm hoping that I want to see them get into the plot and to these characters more, and not try to relate everything to 2021 or whatever you want to call it. No, it's actually 2023 or 4 or something like that. So that's because, again, I love Anthony Mackie. I really like him. The only thing I really didn't like him in, and Altered Carbon. Yeah, he did okay in it, but Altered Carbon season 2 was just bad. And Sebastian Stan, like him too, and I love their chemistry. I'm just hoping that the story does those two characters justice.
Yeah, I think they're a great team together.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's the second episode, right? Let's give it some time,
right?
But at the same time, like,
it's only
6 episodes.
Yeah,
we've only got 4 to go.
So yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So let's say out of bullet-ridden flag smashers, out of 5, what do you give this one?
I give it a 3. It's again good. It was good action. It was some good. There were some great moments of levity, but I thought it was a little too much and too forced. I really enjoyed the introduction of John Walker's character and how they showed that, and the things he's saying as far as, I'm not trying to be this Captain America.
Right.
And he didn't just say that to, when he was on stage. He didn't just say that to Sam and Bucky.
He was saying to anyone who was
saying, yes. Yeah. So, and that's what I appreciated about his character. I'm really curious to see how close things play to what we got in the comics.
Yeah. I mean, like, right now in the comics, we're about to get the Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, John Walker, hard traveling heroes looking for Cap's stolen shield, coming across every tokenized version of Captain America you could ever think of. And that's not a good thing.
No.
I would give this one a 3.25. I'd go a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Because of some of the comic book deep cuts.
Yeah, there were. And some of those I knew, some of them I didn't.
Which I enjoy. But at the same time, the one big surprise, I think, I don't know what to think about it. I think it's an interesting character. It's not necessarily a character who's going to be well known. And I think it's a character that will be more problematic to the normie MCU universe than is necessary. It'll be divisive. Yeah.
And it was funny because, like, right when he said the character's name, I told you, I was like, I couldn't remember the character's last name.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure they're doing they're doing that. So.
I was really when he said the name, I knew. Well, when he was talking about. When Bucky was talking about what he had done to this person, I figured out who it was. And I was like, I don't know. I love the actor that they picked.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a meaty role for him. So I'm excited to see more.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the character goes, the anthology he was introduced in hasn't, like, aged any better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I don't know. All right. Well, cool. Anything else?
Next week, Kong versus Godzilla.
and we have Invincible. We'll do the first 3 episodes later this week. So be on the lookout for that. If you are liking this, head over to YouTube and like and subscribe. We're trying to grow that. If we can get some more subs and a few more, I guess, views, we're gonna start doing like kind of midweek, or not midweek, like just weekly, daily, individual posts between Daryl and I. So we want to definitely grow that out and talk about more stuff than just kind of the weekly and the odd bonus episode. So yeah, just kind of check that out. Head over to infamouspodcast.com. There's the link there. And yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thank you all for listening. We will talk to you later.
See ya.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Daryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.